All right. All right, we're on. So thank you. Hello and welcome. I'm very excited to have Marianne Francis, also a licensed marriage and family therapist, on the show today. And I'm so excited to hear all about her stuff. So, of course, because it's Mercury retrograde and the eclipse, and we were having technical issues, I did not pull up her bio, but I'm pulling that up now. So, of course, live streams, that's just the way it works. And we have to roll with the punches and not get too stressed about it. So,
Right. Like,
so
go
give
with the
me
flow.
right. So bear with me, y'all, so I can find her because she was so good and sent me everything right away. All right, so here it is, y'all, so you guys can hear about Mary. So Marianne Francis is owner of Transforming Hearts PLLC, a Latina-owned talk therapy and wellness retreat. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist and credentials in the states of Connecticut and North Carolina. Marianne is an accomplished author, having self-published and co-authored best-selling works with emphasis on the importance of self-love. With a strong dedication to her craft, Marianne specializes in working with couples and has established a reputation for developing workshops and retreats tailored to women on their journey of self discovery and self love. She has been a featured speaker at women's conferences and universities where she continues to inspire and empower females to embrace self love unapologetically. In her practice, Marianne integrates various modalities such as meditation and Reiki, recognizing that healing and self love can manifest in diverse ways. She firmly believes in the transformative power of personal growth and is committed to guiding others on their individual paths. And in her leisure time, Marianne enjoys traveling with her family when she is not engaging in collaborative endeavors. So, thank you so much. Welcome. You are quite impressive, my friend. I'm surprised we've never met before. So,
I
I'm very
know.
excited that you decided to do this
Yeah.
and come and share your light with everyone here. So, I mean, I read some stuff, but I want to hear it from you. Like, tell me, like, how you got to this point, right? Because we all have our starting journey and we all kind of follow what we're supposed to do, but then we dive into what we're actually meant to do. So, tell me
Right.
how that journey went for you.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, thank you for having me on. It's really a pleasure for me to be here today. And again, I'm surprised as well at being at LMF2 that we haven't crossed paths before, but I'm excited for this. So I began my practice in 2016. It was formerly Mending Hearts LLC.
Mhm.
And of course, at that point, it was just talk therapy, trying to get my feet wet in business altogether and just being out on my own. And it probably was maybe around 2000, I think 18, were interesting enough that when I really started diving in a little bit more, at that time I was part time.
Mhm.
So I just had the business on the side, had something else full time. And I was telling my husband, I was like, back then I had a dream that I was supposed to be doing something more. And it's interesting to me that the dream showed light coming from my hands. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I almost feel like I have to, like, I have a calling somewhere and I need to go kind of find it. And however ESP works when it comes to your mind and Facebook, the next day, interest after I had that conversation with him, um, it popped up on my phone and it was like, oh, Reiki. And I'm like, what is Reiki? I had no idea. I've never heard about it before. And I was like, this shows a picture of exactly what my dream was. So I took like a self course just to try to understand a little bit more. And then I ended up finding somebody who actually can certify you to do it. And so I only went up to level 2 because I'm like, I want to be able to practice before I become a master Reiki, right? So I started off doing that for a little bit of time. And then 2020 hit and I was laid off of my full-time job. So I jumped into full-time practice.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is when I really started the journey, right? And really trying to dive into talk therapy. My niche became couples at that time because at that point, 90% of my practice was couples.
Mhm.
So it kind of grew from there. And then I just wanted to do so much more, knowing that I had the ability to kind of expand and do the things that I was passionate about. So Reiki, I started to do a little bit more like at distance at that time. And then it just 2021 is when I started developing like unapologetically, which is the self-love movement for women, because then I started having a lot of women during talk therapy. And I realized like there's a lot of women in need of that self-love work. And I wanted to dive deeper into it because I know I had my journey when I was younger, not realizing was the self-love journey I had for myself, and I began overnight retreats.
Mhm.
And so from there, I just really started working on expanding and diving into each sector of it. And then meditation came about last year. So there's so many different parts of how the business kind of grew into its own. But it's been one heck of a journey, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, and I'm shaking my head vigorously. It's about to fall off my body because it just sounds so familiar to my own journey.
Mhm.
As far as like how things evolve.
Mm.
And how you follow the breadcrumbs. And how you get those dreams and those downloads and the things that come to you. And if you don't listen to them, they're gonna keep showing up, or stuff is gonna
Right.
keep. So the fact that you said, without even knowing, like, just I
Mhm.
need to follow this because it seems like this is something that I need to be doing. So
Right.
that's just beautiful to hear, and I'm so happy that there are other people doing the same thing because we need whole body healing.
Yeah.
And I'm talking all bodies,
Right.
energy bodies, emotional bodies, physical bodies, everything.
Mhm.
So that is awesome. So tell me more about like the things that you do. So how do you incorporate
Mhm.
your spiritual practice with your psychotherapy practice, because so many people are wondering about that, right?
Yeah, definitely. So the way my practice, I kind of have it set up, it's the Center for Unapologetic Change. So you're the ability to go from one service to the next service to kind of flow and weave. And it's almost like you can pick your own path to the healing that
Mhm.
you want at the time. So there are times during the talk therapy session that, maybe in session I'm like, seems like something's blocked, right? And
Mhm.
maybe I might ask permission and say, this sounds like it's blocked. Can I just do a little bit of Reiki, to be able to help relieve some of that, right? And so there might be times I do it in sessions, but then oftentimes people want more. So
Yeah.
then they kind of dive into my other service, which is called Just Relax and Retreat.
Mhm.
And that is the body and energy healing service. So that's where I actually have the self-pay Reiki and the meditation classes going. So I kind of break it all up into different services, and you could kind of bob and weave in and out of each of them. But yeah, sometimes I do add it into the talk therapy segment if they're open to it.
Mhm.
So that way we can really start understanding, because as you know, when it comes to even trauma, like it's not just stored up. It's stored up in the body and
Mhm.
the energy part. So sometimes if they're blocked and talking about it, oh, we got to do the throat chakra. Let's work on that for a second.
Mhm.
So those are just some of the things that how I try to integrate it in.
Right. That's so good to hear. So now I tell me about what the difference that you've seen with your
Mhm.
clients since you started integrating the energy work and the spiritual work with them.
I really find that they become more open to it and understanding that it's not just about me not being able to express myself or me not having the words. Sometimes I think afterwards they're able to feel the difference, like, and even energetically, and they'll come back to me and email, Marianne, oh my gosh, like I'm really feeling it. And afterwards they have like this jolt of energy, and they're like, I don't even want to be around the negative stuff, right? So all of a sudden it makes them excited, and I love to hear that, the excitement that they have afterwards, because for me it almost confirms for me that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, right? That although, and for me, I haven't fulfilled like the master level as of yet, or I haven't gotten into that as of yet. For me, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be, and I really enjoy it. So to be able to even integrate it as part of the therapy piece for me is super exciting. So whatever for them helps them on their journey is really what I want to be able to do. And if there's something that I feel like they need a little bit deeper of, I might say, I'm not the expert on that, but I'll send you to one, right? Because I really feel like whatever is going to help you is going to be the best thing. And it might not be from me.
That's right. That's right. And, yeah, exactly that, because, there's clients go through stages of healing, right? So it's like you can take them to a certain level and maybe they need something beyond that, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to be the jack of all trades to everything and everyone. And knowing that really helps the clients expand. And I love that. I love that you said that, because sometimes there's, people in our field and other fields who want to hold on to people, and what they're doing them is a disservice, instead of saying, you know what, we've gone as far as we can in our work, and here's someone else who I think can take you even further, because it's not a competition. It's about us helping people, helping ourselves grow, and helping others grow and find their own healing tools. So I love that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's super important even for them, because I do believe that certain clients become a little bit dependent, right? Yes. And they have anxieties like, what am I supposed to do when you're not there, right? It's like you go on living life as if like, and I was like, and the reality is that I said, I'm always here, right? It's an email that if you needed a refresher or something. So I think sometimes when they know that, it's like, oh, you're right. Like, I forget about that, right? And I'm like, yeah, so I'm here. It's just sometimes that I know my limits, and everybody has their limits. And if I'm saying, hey, there's other people that can help you with certain things, I want you to go ahead and find that, but know that you can always come back if you needed to, once a month check-in or whatever it is. And and you're going to be okay.
Exactly that. And, you said something earlier about, like, not being even though you're not a Reiki master, that doesn't matter, because what you have is it's a multi-life experience is what you have. So the fact that you had that dream with the hands that was your higher self already telling you that you had done this before, and now it's time to do this again. So that is exactly why you felt so compelled to follow the breadcrumbs, and of course, our phones help us when they listen to us, or whatever they're connected to our energetic field, so they know what to put up for us. So tell me more about the retreat side and the spiritual side of that, of your business. So I know how you work with the psychotherapy, but tell me about that other side.
Yeah, so Unapologetically, again, I started in 2021, and it started on overnight retreats. So I had a part 1 and I had a part 2. One started off with one overnight, the other one was like a full weekend. And I wanted to bring in like different aspects of self-love and self-discovery. So the first part was like, okay, that's where I created my first self-published guided journal based on self-love called Unapologetically Me. And so from that, I just broke down it was about blocks of anger. So what blocks your anger, and some tools to help enhance your self-love, right? So we talked about anger, we talked about fear. So a lot of the things that were at that first retreat were, okay, we're going to the rage room, right? And we're going to really talk about this anger, and then we're going to beat the crap out of some of these things, right? So it was that. And then we talked about fear and some things to help identify what our fears are. And after that, I started bringing in speakers, and we brought in a self-love coach. We brought in a paint artist. And so we were sitting there and painting and really discovering and understanding that there is a process to a lot of these things. So don't feel like you have to be in a rush for all of it, because we know how messy things get when you're in a rush to go through it. You want to go through the whole entire process. So I think a lot of the different aspects that I were bringing in regarding speakers. I also had a yoga trauma informed yoga instructor to come in, and we were just implementing all these different aspects. Part two was a little bit deeper, where we actually had somebody come in that was doing tuning forks. And
Mhm.
of course, at the end of both the retreats, I always have a photo shoot, because now
Mm.
we're working on confidence here,
Right.
right? So after
Mhm.
everything that you've been through and you're learning about yourself and you're processing, and we're all processing it out, now we're going to boost your self-esteem and really work on that confidence, because it took you through this process to get you here.
Mhm.
So now what I'm doing, every month I host a Women's Day workshop, and they're different, and they work on each aspect of self-love, because most people think that self-love is just self-care,
Right.
but they're not
Mhm.
understanding that that's just an aspect of self-love, right?
That's right.
There's so many different features of it, and so each month we work on it. Last month we actually did self-empowerment, and it was indoor rock climbing. So
Mm.
I do a little speech in the beginning, and I'm saying this is the aspect that we're working on, the theme, and this is why it's so important and a part of self-love. This month we're actually doing gratitude, and I'm doing meditation in a salt cave.
Nice.
So
Mhm.
there's all these different aspects of self-love that I want the women to remember, that it's all encompassing, is not just about learning how to take care of yourself, because those other parts are super important too. So next year, I haven't announced it as of yet as where we're going, but next year, 2025, we're actually going on our first away retreat to
Mhm.
really work on that self-love aspect, away, because I think a lot of times, especially for women,
Mhm.
it's almost like we go back to an environment that doesn't help us focus.
Yep.
So I love the retreat portion of it, where we can just take you away for a little bit, and you can actually work on yourself. And
Mhm.
then you have your tribe there with you, that is encouraging you, that is empowering you to say, you got this and you
Mhm.
can do this, right? Because it can be difficult
Yeah.
for women to really focus on that aspect of themselves, because you do so much for other people.
Mhm.
So this movement right here is really important. I've been working hard on setting it up and hearing what the women want, so it can be inclusive, and more women just want to join in to be able to say, we're working on this.
Nice. Nice. Well, and speaking of that, like how do you break the barriers with women? Because
Mhm.
oftentimes women are like, "Oh, well, I can't afford it because I can't and this and that." But they'll spend, $300-400 on
Yeah,
sneakers for their children or something for their husband or something for
yeah.
their whatever else, right? So how have you broken through those barriers?
I'll tell you that that was one of my things for the past 2 years.
Mhm.
And I had done a lot of lives in the past couple of years, and posts and things like that. My main question was, and you're right, that's an aspect of it too.
Mhm.
One of the things that I was finding is that it's almost like women set themselves up and be like, well, I see your date and I see the time and things, but let me see if there's anything else going on, because maybe I could do something else, or maybe there's, and we don't take that time out to ourselves. And
Mhm.
I can't like, even when I'm talking to women in talk therapy, right? And again, like, my business is about bobbing and weaving inside the healing journey of the practice itself.
Mhm.
Right. So you
Mhm.
might be in talk therapy and you go, so a lot of my newsletters will have, well, it's not just talk therapy, it's all these other aspects of transforming heart. So number one, some of them come from my talk therapy piece,
Mhm.
and other times it's the women who are referring. So it started off really small, and for me, it doesn't matter if I'm helping, if one person shows up, we're going to go ahead and do this.
That's
So
right.
whatever workshop it is, it's one woman who signed up, awesome, let's do that. So once the women started seeing it, it
Mhm.
was about, okay, well then maybe. And a lot of times, if anything, they want to buddy up, they want to bring a
Mhm.
friend. Great, bring a friend. That's what this is about. It's finding your tribe and being comfortable. And some end up just going solo, because you know what, they're like, I don't want to be with anybody else but myself and do this by myself with new people.
Mm.
So I think it's about encouraging women and letting them know that it's okay to do this and to do something for yourself. And that is the point, is that we have to learn how to break free from that traditional role sometimes and go to something that starts with us. Because if you're not happy and if you're not being fulfilled in your life, when kids grow up and everything else is happening, you're going to look back and be like, where was my life? Right. And
Yeah.
that's the one message, like in different parts of my lives, that I try to convey, is that
Mhm.
you have a life too, and you are an individual outside of everyone else, and you have a right to live that.
That's right.
So when are you going to live it?
Hmm. Hmm. And it seems like you're being that living example for your clients
Mhm.
as well, because you just said something that a lot of people, when they start doing this, retreats or whatever they start doing, they're like,
Mhm.
they get so disillusioned when like one person signs up. And I always tell people, you know, one person is enough. Like
Mhm.
one person, and the next time there's going to be another person, and the next time there's going to be more. So like you have to. What you are showing your clients and the people who are coming to your workshops is that you persevere no matter what. When you
Right.
believe in something, and when you feel like something is worth it, then you move forward in that, and that's the
Mhm.
message, and that's the message they're receiving. So that's why they're breaking through their own barriers. So
Right.
yeah, that's
Right.
awesome.
And you have to show up. That's and again,
Mhm.
I've been working on this for since 2021, and it's been hard. And sometimes I'm just like, why, right? Why am I doing this if I'm not getting the exposure or the stuff that I feel like I should be? Because I know women need this, but
Yep,
I'm not understand where it's hitting. And I was like, you know what? It's not even it. It's because I know it's needed. But
that's right.
sometimes women need a little bit more, I don't want to say convincing, but reassurance that it is
Mhm.
okay, right? There was even sometimes in sessions in therapy, and we're talking about the self-love journey. And sometimes the partners would even be telling them, well, I don't know if you should be doing this because you're loving yourself a little bit too much.
Yep,
Come
yep.
again, como fue eso? Like what? I was like, and this is what holds a lot of women back, is other people
Mhm.
saying that it's selfish. Other people are saying you're starting to be a new you. Absolutely.
That's right.
Because before you, I was me, and then somehow I got lost along the way, and now I have to
Mhm.
try to find it, and I don't want to find it 20 years from now.
That's right.
This
That's
is
right.
my time now, regardless of what it is and regardless how old I am, because at the end of the day, I need to be an individual self. And
Mhm.
for me to radiate love, I need to find that within me and identify what that is, or what has prevented me from from that, right? What was the
Mhm.
block, or what happened to me that I ended up being lost along the way? So
Mhm.
sometimes it's about the empowerment, and just being able to remind women that you want to be you. You are your individual self, and you deserve to love you.
Yep, that's right. Isn't it funny how doing couples therapy will get all those great ideas about women and self-love into your head? Because yeah, a lot of the stuff that I evolved into was when I was doing a lot of couples therapy, and that was the reason, and
Mhm.
saw the need. You saw the need
Yeah.
for women, and and what society and the patriarchy has done to women in for
Yeah.
centuries now, and it's time,
Mhm.
and we're in that time frame right now. This is a time when the divine masculine and feminine, but feminine mostly, is rising and meeting with the divine masculine, so
Yeah.
it's necessary for women to know how to navigate both of those things, because that
Mhm.
is what self-love is grounding yourself in both of those energies, and everything else around you, so that you can balance yourself. So thank you
Right.
so much for doing the work, because it's so needed. Where
Yeah.
are you located? Where is your practice located, and how can people find you?
So I am located in Manchester, and I do hybrid. So talk therapy
Mhm.
is virtual right now,
Mhm.
and the women's movement is in person. And the meditation classes and Reiki, for the most part, are virtual as well. I am working on a space for the Reiki part to do more in person as well.
Mhm.
And people can find me, whether it's on my website, www.transformingheartspllc.com, or I do have Facebook and Instagram, and it is Transforming Hearts PLLC.
Good. Good. So make sure everybody that you look her up because she's doing magnificent work. And I'm so happy that we connected and I'm hoping that we
Yes.
continue to connect in the future. So I have three questions that I ask everyone when I do this segment. So the first one is, what lights you up?
Um, honestly, the ability to just do anything that I'm passionate about. So traveling is definitely one. I just came back from a vacation last week.
Nice.
Um, so traveling, spending time with my family, and anything that makes me laugh, to be honest with you.
Good, good. I love that. All right. So the second question is, what advice do you have for your younger self? You can pick any age, knowing the stuff that you don't know.
Um, I would definitely say just pay attention to your intuition
Mm-hmm.
because it's not gonna steer you wrong. And I feel like if I would have listened to my intuition back then, maybe my life would have, I think it would have somehow led here,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it would have been sooner. But it's okay. I
Yeah,
would just listen to myself.
that's right. That's right. Listen to yourself more instead of the outside world. Yep.
Hmm.
And then the last question is, what advice do you have for youth, young people today, because they're living in such a, crazy world right now?
Hmm. Um, I would probably say sort of the same thing, falling in the line of the same thing. Like, one, social media is not real because I know that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing that the younger generation is doing, and align with yourself. Like, listen to the things that make you feel good and follow that, because a lot of times they're being influenced by the other things and not aligning themselves with their purpose because
Mhm.
maybe they think it's not enough or is not good enough. But do what feels good for you.
Good. Perfect. And just to remind people, you're doing monthly meditation groups, right?
So I'm doing biweekly meditation
I
groups
would-
that starts April 22nd, and then the monthly Women's Day workshop. So the next one is April 27th.
Okay, good. So everybody look her up on her website and sign up for those workshops because they sound amazing. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here and I
Thank you for
appreciate
having me.
all of the work that you do. So thank you so much and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.